Thanks for being with us on Conquering Retirement. I'm Brad Johansson with Northern Alliance Financial CEO Lance Gilman and Jeremy Barnard. Guys, it's always a pleasure to be with you. I like to just answer some questions for these folks because there are so many out there. Let's kind of dedicate this show to your plan, maybe to some of the questions that you aren't sure that you should be asking, ones that are probably out there that may feel uncomfortable for you to ask. So let's, guys, kind of throw it out for maybe some of the most common questions that you see. If you see around 20 to 30 people a week, get me into the realm of where we're going with probably some of the things that are pressing on a lot of people. Lance, you see most of them. Bring me up to date on some of the questions that we probably should be asking or are most prevalent for people out there.
I think probably one of the biggest concerns and questions that people have that come into the office is, do I have enough? Do I have enough money? Have I
It's all of our questions, right? Yeah.
That's the biggest fear, is running out of money. And so how do they know that? And so that becomes a question of analytics and mathematics, really, that we need to sit down and kind of work through that. How much have they saved? And then we would also need to know what their budget is, both now and in retirement. And that would help us to determine what other income sources that they have, what their budget looks like, and then what their retirement savings looks like. And then we start to put this puzzle together, right? You kind of start on the outside frame and you start to work the pieces together, having their goal be what that end picture looks like. And for them, that's how they conquer retirement, is that's their end picture. Yeah. Because that is the framework of exactly what we need to do so that all of their assets and resources go to framing that picture for them.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great way to, I love the analogy of the puzzle pieces and putting it all together. It does feel like that an awful lot.
It's true, so true.
I'm going to ask you, Jeremy, how should I contribute to my retirement account? Because that's probably something that I'm walking into right now. I haven't gotten there yet. I'm still working. How do I contribute at this point?
Yep, certainly, workplaces are offering, retirement savings plans pretty universally at this point. So the easiest and the path of least resistance, if you will, to start saving is right at work, which is convenient and it's nice. There are some pretty significant drawbacks to pay attention to and to think about. But ultimately, if you haven't started saving, go ask your HR manager or whoever is in charge and ask that question, because you probably can right at your workplace.
Okay, if you say there's significant drawbacks, should I know about them now?
Maybe. Yes, okay, of course. Of course, I've a blanket statement, we say this all the time, if it's a company match, no matter what's going on, no matter what the drawbacks are, it's 100% return right away. If you put in 3%, the company gives you 3%,
right.
There's nothing wrong at all in that situation, of course.
100%
right.
gain, you're not going to do any better than that.
And it's immediate.
And we never turn away free money.
No.
Ever.
So we shouldn't.
But the question is, if it's only 3% that I can contribute and get a match, but I'm able to contribute 5, 6, 10%, whatever the number is, should you contribute all of that extra right into that 401k? Maybe, maybe not. I think it's important to look at the investment options that are available in the 401k plan. They're not all created equally, unfortunately. Some of these 401k plans have been created years ago and haven't been updated. So we want to pay attention to your investment options within that 401k. If they aren't great or if they don't work for you for whatever reason, then we can talk about creating an IRA account, or, in my opinion, even better, for a lot of people would be a Roth IRA account.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, is that some of the plans now actually do offer a Roth component. So that would be another question.
Within work contributions?
Within the work contributions. Okay. A lot of them do, and many people aren't informed about that. They may have added that. So that's a good question. If they have added that Roth component, how would you then structure how much would go to the traditional pre-tax, and then how much would you put to the Roth? And usually, what we would say is at least get the match, and that would typically be your pre-tax contributions. So let's say the company's matching up to 6%. I mean, that would be pretty good. because some companies aren't matching up to 6%. But if they are, we want to at least get that 6% match. Anything above and beyond that, we would want to look to say, well, if we want to get the objective, which we've always said is 10% of your pay should be going toward your retirement. So if 6% is going to that match, then that extra 4%, if they allow you to do a Roth, should be going into that Roth employer sponsor plan. Now, if there's no employer-sponsored Roth component, that's where you need to call us, because we can help you set up a Roth where you could take that extra 4% and put it into a Roth IRA outside of your company funds.
Yeah. Thankfully, they are starting to increase the availability of 401ks, but Roth 401ks. And it's kind of happened over the past couple of years, really getting to see that a lot more, but with no fanfare whatsoever from companies. What companies don't realize, what they've opened up the doors to their employees for, is something beautiful and amazing, and definitely should be considered. I think you throw a whole new party. Hey, we care about you employees so much. Look, we're doing a Roth 401k plan. Let's take some time. Let's talk about why this is so amazing that we're doing it for you. It's a cost-free effort to boost morale and to take care of your employees, but it's because nobody really understands the
what
power
it is
of
or the power.
It's
and so
too bad.
Let's talk a little bit about it, because I think the viewing audience needs to understand the power of that. Probably the most critical thing about the Roth chassis is that once the funds are in that chassis, that Roth chassis, they are never taxed again, ever, even on the gains, indefinitely. And it used to be, prior to the passage of the Secure Act, Part 2, that if you put money into a Roth 401k, then eventually, when you had to start taking your RMDs, you had to take that money out of the Roth 401k also. However, with the recent change to the Secure Act Part 2, now it acts just like a traditional Roth, where those monies can stay in that tax-free bucket indefinitely and continue to grow tax-free. Oh, there's more. And if they are transferred, something happens to you, God forbid, then it goes to whoever your beneficiary is designated as, also tax-free. Because so, Brad, it also becomes a legacy planning tool. Powerful, powerful, powerful.
Yeah, well said.
To try and figure out what's in the plan. Well, Lance has penned this book. We're going to talk about this book. Would you like a copy of it that deals with Social Security, that deals with taxes, that deals with the whole Roth IRA, that deals with your commitment to conquering retirement? It's all here. Lance is going to tell you about how it came to be and how you can get it. Well, it's real simple. Set up an appointment. Oh, how much is that going to cost me? That's free as well. Well, I'd like a plan. Have that for free as well. It's all complimentary. The goal here is to help you conquer retirement. Take the time out now. Pick up the phone. Dial the number 877-241-7430. I don't want to call a number. All right, go ahead and click the QR code that's on your screen right now. Set up a complimentary appointment to work out a plan. Do you have questions? We're going to address more of them as we continue to help you conquer your retirement. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Ben.
Good morning, Ben. Hey, birthday party for Carol and 5. Happy birthday to you.
Good morning, Ben. Happy Monday.
Daryl's birthday, be there every square. Happy birthday to you. You can see from our quarterly report on slide number 62, we're trending in the right direction. All signs point to a very positive outlook for the next several years. If you peel back the onion...
Ben, do you have anything to
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Thanks for being with us on Conquering Retirement with Northern Alliance Financial CEO Lance Gilman and Jeremy Barnard. Gentlemen, we're talking about some of the most asked questions that you're going to see. Our government has done a job now of figuring out how to get more than $33 trillion in debt. How they're going to get out is going to impact all of you. So the question remains for a lot of us, should I be debt-free before my retirement? You have a head nod there, Jeremy. The answer is what?
I've just seen, at this point, I mean, we've worked with thousands of people and that are clients, let alone the people that we sit with and share information with. That's probably tens of thousands of people over the years. One of the biggest difference between somebody's retirement plan, the most consistent thing anyway, would be whether or not they have debt or not. Debt can really derail even the most solid plan in a lot of ways, and especially in today's economic situation where debt is expensive. I think that's all the more real, that we have to pay attention to debt, pay it down where we can. If some of these fixed mortgages that are at 2 and 3%, that's not the kind of debt I'm talking about. People aren't realizing, I'm like, let's look at your credit card statement. You're carrying a balance, even if it's a modest balance. Look at that interest rate you're charging.
Percentage they're charging
it's
you.
18, 19%. And
Crazy.
that's just the standard, let alone if you miss one. Then you're going up to 35, 40% on interest. It's crazy. Those hidden percentages, people don't think about them. Debt is critical to look at. We got to clean things up, make sure people don't get derailed unnecessarily.
Yeah, the government does a lot of stupid things, Brad.
Hold it, really?
Yeah, I know you're shocked by that. But in this case, they've really done us a really great service of what not to do regarding debt.
Teaching us the antithesis of what we should be in.
Absolutely. And actually, to just continue on this thread of what Jeremy just said, the number one thing that I have seen regarding whether somebody is going to be able to move into their retirement with a stress-free, anxious-free feeling is whether or not they've been able to reduce their debt. And if they are completely debt-free, then we're talking about they're only down to an operational need. And many times what I have seen is when you place, let's say you've got two clients that are married, they've worked together, they've worked hard, decent jobs all their lives, and they pared down their debt. So now they're just down to this operational need. When you put the two Social Securities together for that couple, and you look at their operational need, many times, Brad, the Social Security checks alone will cover that operational need, which means what? Which means that all of the rest of what they save, they don't have to touch. It's what we call their fund money, right?
Yep.
And then they can look at that and say, well, Lance, Jeremy, we've got all this extra money. What are we going to do with it? I said, that's a great problem to have.
Anything you want.
Yes.
That's the whole goal.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like to think of it in terms of paychecks and playchecks.
I like that. That's great.
I stole that. That's not an original
That's
thought.
okay. That's okay.
Tom Hegna, he's a national speaker. He's amazing. Paychecks and playchecks.
Perfect.
But you want paychecks aplenty, which is that operating expenses. If Social Security or whatever other situation you have pays all your monthly expenses, and you never have to worry about lights on, food in the fridge, taxes paid, whew, what a weight off your shoulders.
Exactly.
And as far as I'm concerned, I think that makes you a wealthy American. People ask me that all the time.
Absolutely.
What does it mean to be rich? I'm like, well, if you can pay for your, all the monthly expenses, I think you're rich. Everything on top of that, it's a paycheck.
That is absolutely true. And it's very, very important for people to realize this, because a lot of times people get disheartened, Jeremy, because you see these, when you look at some of the social media sites and they say, oh, you've got to have $1 million, you've got to have $1.5 million to retire. It's a bunch of nonsense. Hogwash. I'm telling you right now, it all boils down to the cash flow.
Yeah.
So if you've pared down your operational need so that you are debt-free and you're just having to figure out how you're going to put food on the table, pay your light bill, things like that, That's very minimal, and most of the time people can do that with those 2 Social Security checks.
Yep.
And that means that rest of that money is, okay, well, what are we going to do? And that's one of the first things that we're going to ask when somebody comes in to the office is, what are your goals? What does conquering retirement look like for you?
Yeah.
If you were to say, this is how I would like to see my retirement play out, a lot of times people come in and they're kind of taken back by the fact, well, we ask them, what are your goals? What do you want to do with your retirement? And they've got their statements and they're ready to hand them over. We don't want to talk about your statements yet.
Right.
We don't want to talk about that. We want to talk about your goals. What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve? Because that sets the stage for everything. If we know the goal and we know where we are, now we can set this trajectory to get you there.
I promised that we talk about the book. You've picked up the book. This is the goal. You've reached a goal by penning this book. Congratulations on that. Tell us what's inside this and how do people get it?
Yeah, so essentially what we do with the book is it starts on the front lines of Operation Desert Storm, and where we have all of the troops kind of waiting for the obstacles to be taken out of the battlefield so that the combat units could go through and then breach those lanes and then go on to win and succeed in battle. In very similar circumstances, we all have these threats.
You're passing over the fact that you were on those front lines. That's why it starts there. Thank you for your service.
Thank you. My pleasure. But actually, that's where the book starts. It brings the reader right there.
Yeah.
And then they're thinking to themselves, well, wait a second, is this a retirement book or is this a battle book?
Yep.
It's both. Why? Because there's threats out there that threaten all of us and all of our retirements. Right? So we need to mitigate those threats, very similar to what we would do on the battlefield, so that we can squelch them, reduce the anxiety, and then live a worry-free retirement.
How much for the book? It's free. If you set up an appointment, oh, okay, how much is the appointment? It's free. Okay, well, I'd like a plan as well. How much is that? It's free. Why would you wait? Let's take out the obstacles. Let's figure out a way for you to make a plan so that you can conquer retirement. We talk about it sometimes as mailbox money. If you've cleared the debt, and now the Social Security is the mailbox money to take care of all the essentials, we can create a plan for you to get out of the paycheck and get into the playcheck. 877-241-7430. What do you get out of that? A free book, a free appointment, a free plan so you can play away. Do it now. Conquer your retirement. Take a minute and call the number on your screen, and we'll be right back.
The work never seems to end until the day it finally does. After nearly a lifetime on the job, you should be rewarded for all the time you spent working. Whether that's crossing off items on your bucket list, learning a new passion, or rekindling the love of an old one. After all, life isn't over when you stop working. It's the start of an all-new chapter, the one where you're the writer and you get to choose how your story will go. A way to achieve that is by having a clear financial plan to sustain your golden years. The biggest fear most retirees have is if they'll have enough money to maintain the lifestyle they've always enjoyed. Having a plan to help protect you against the curveballs life often throws will help to maintain your lifestyle. Call today to get your free written financial plan so you may live every day to the fullest and enjoy the retirement of your dreams.
Thanks for being with us on Conquering Retirement. Hopefully you picked up the phone. If not, we have a few more questions to answer for you as we try to conquer your retirement. So Jeremy and Lance with us now. How much money do I need to save for retirement? You got a set number for me, Jeremy?
That's the $64,000 question, right? You can put a board up over here and play that game. It's a good question, but I'm not sure how applicable it is to any one person or any group of people, to be sure. It's very individualized. And again, we see so many different examples of people living retirement to the fullest, maximizing everything that they've got, and hopefully, living the dream that whatever that is for them in retirement. I love, I just recently worked with a client and showed her how she could secure $2,000 a month of income for the rest of her life. And I have my perspective. I was like, it's a good thing, I guess. She was so ecstatic. She was so happy. She was never going to have to worry about, again, lights on, food in the fridge, and all that stuff. And she's like, wow, I never thought this would happen. She's like, I feel so successful. And I was like, wow, she feels wealthy and free and in a wonderful way.
In her number,
$2,000 a month.
That's rich.
And that's her number.
That's her number.
Yeah.
I've got another client that I work with, and they're, no judgment. They're all lovely people, of course. They need $15,000 a month. That's how much I was able to identify they can have without running out of money. And they were super disappointed. And they made comments about how they're too poor and how they're not going to be able to do these things. And it was such an important story for me to kind of bring those two pieces together and say, wow, what this whole retirement work that we do, first of all, critically important. Secondarily, we have to adjust to every individual, and success looks totally different. I caution people, I'm curious if you hear this a bunch, Lance, how am I doing relative to everybody else? Am I better than other people?
It's a big deal, isn't
It means nothing.
Comparative.
If you can have their money, maybe it means something, but you can't. It's so individualized. Let's just maximize what you've got and help you live
You
that
brought
life.
up Google before, and if you Google it, Google will tell you you need $1 million to retire. That's what is out there. People will say, okay, what I've heard is I need $1 million to retire.
Yeah.
And you say what, Lance?
I just say hogwash. That's
It's your favorite word.
That's my favorite word, and it's nonsense. It really is, because you can't arbitrarily say that's the number for everyone. As Jeremy just articulated, you have some clients that they've pared down their debt, so all they really have at this point is their operational need, which usually most people can deal with their operational needs somewhere between $2,000 to maybe $4,000. When you put two solid Social Security checks together, guess what? That's $2,000 to $4,000, which means all of the rest of the monies that they've saved become elements for that plain money.
I've got a great story with that as well. There's a waitress who lives in Freeport, works in Freeport. She's only ever earned $40,000 throughout her lifetime, and she had about $800,000 saved up.
Wow,
Pretty
that's
amazing.
That is amazing.
She did get an inheritance and all that, but mostly it was her effort and her sacrifice and saving and all that good stuff. And she said to me, she goes, I really want to get $2 million and then I'm going to retire. So we talked about what retirement looks like for her, and I was like, so this $1 million thing.
Where are you getting this?
Why? I was like, and I asked this one important question. It changed the whole direction, probably of her life, I got to say, certainly mine. I said, well, how much do you want each year in retirement? Like, you want $1 million, but how much is each year? She goes, well, I've only ever made $40,000. I'd like to make $50,000 a year. And I was able to show her how with the $800,000 that she has right now, she can have $50,000 a year. This $1 million number was totally arbitrary.
Right.
Has nothing to do with her desire to have more money in retirement than her working years.
Right.
We showed her how to do that. She did still work, but we implemented that plan, and she's since retired.
Now she's rich.
But
She's making more money now than ever.
Well, right, and also think about the liberation of that.
Oh, yeah.
Here you've worked so hard to get to this number, and you've stashed away, and you've kind of held back. You've been very resourceful, and for whatever reason, you get this idea in your mind that you have to achieve X number to give you some semblance of happiness in retirement. And then you work through the math with the person, and you show them on the board the math and how it works. And the only thing that's separating them from retirement and their numbers that they actually need, not some arbitrary number that someone developed on Google or wherever, but you work through this and you say, listen, here's the reality of the situation. You could not have done this any better. You could have not have planned this any better, because the only thing that's stopping you from retiring at this point is you.
Right. Which is actually really empowering.
Yes.
She's in complete control of her retirement. I love that.
Aren't we all looking for empowerment?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's a lot of people. I want to get to one more question as we start to run out of time. But you'll go to a lot of advisors, or people will have advisors and say, nobody ever talked to me about taxes. Do I need a tax advisor? What should I do about taxes? Isn't that what you guys are going to be able to help with?
Well, we work in tandem with tax advisors. We're not CFPs. We're not CPAs, we're not accountants and those sorts of things, but certainly we partner with
But
those
this
groups.
is a part of the holistic plan that you offer.
So we,
Oh yeah, for sure.
we know a tremendous amount, and we spoon feed accountants and CPAs all the information. But they're part of the team. They're really important in some situations, just like estate planning attorneys are part of the team. Medicare specialists are part of the team.
Absolutely.
Yes, you can come to us. We're going to talk about taxes. It's probably the number one thing we talk about. But we're going to include that member of your team as well, depending on your situation. It can be critically important.
Yeah, and if somebody doesn't have a CPA, then we have a whole network of CPAs that we can plug them into. But taxation is huge. And so when we look at talking about things like Roth conversions and other things that we want to do potentially systematically and deliberately over time, but keep somebody in the same marginal tax rate, well, we have a pretty good idea of how to do that. But what we want to do is we want to bounce that off the accountant and say, this is what we want to do. Want to make sure everybody's on the same page with this. What are the tax implications if we take some of these funds that are pre-taxed, have not been taxed yet, convert them now, and systematically do that over time? Does this plan work, and what are we thinking about for taxes?
Because this can be an advantageous time because of the tax situation.
Huge.
And I say this to people too, because sometimes people want us to be CPAs and accountants and all that. I'm like, listen, I have an accountant. That's all she does is deal with my taxes. She doesn't do financial planning, social security planning. There's too much of that sometimes. And that world of taxation, I mean, it changes, and we need those partners on our team to make sure, again, we stay up on top of all this stuff. But man, we don't want to miss even the tiniest little detail, especially with regards to Roth conversions. You can't undo those, and there can be a cascading effect of taxes that would be negative. So we just, part of our due diligence, we incorporate them into the team to be sure. We know a tremendous amount, but they're the experts to be sure.
So many questions answered. So many more to come. Jeremy, Lance, thanks so much. And thanks for this. You can say thanks for this for free. Set up an appointment. The book is free. The appointment is free. The plan is free. Let's make a plan for you to conquer your retirement. Let's help you answer all of the questions that you had, or maybe some you didn't even know you had. Let's get it to be playtime for you. 877-241-7430. As always, we thank you so much for being with us. Let's help you conquer your retirement. Until next time, thanks for being here. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Lance. And thank you. Let's conquer together.